Hello, beautiful ones. Welcome to Unicorn Light Tarot. I hope everybody is staying safe and healthy and relatively sane out there. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. And for those of you who are returning, absolutely brilliant. Nice to have you here again. So I know that these are not only general readings, but this is definitely a timeless reading. But having said that, you know, this reading is being filmed when we are on lockdown for the most part. A lot of the country is going back to somewhat normal circumstances very soon. But either way, I know we're all sort of thinking about love, right? Spring is in the air, love is in the air. And just because we've been in our houses for the last month or so doesn't necessarily mean that love has not been on our mind. In fact, this is the perfect time for us because we've been working on ourselves and, you know, for some of us have some kind of downtime or some time to sort of reflect and figure out what's going on. So you might be even more ready for all that love coming into your life. So I thought we would lighten up the mood and get right into some love readings here today. We're always trying to make things as general as possible and reach as many people as possible. So I thought what we would do today, and this is a suggestion from a good friend of mine, Stephen. Now, it might not be exactly your suggestion. I might have put my perspective or my spin on it. But what we're going to be doing today is this a love connection? Is this a real love connection? Now, there are many, many, many different ways that we can work with this. This could be a situation where you already have a partner and you're checking in to see if this is a real love connection, if this is working for both of you. This could be a situation where you have your eye on someone or you're currently friends and you're trying to figure out if this could be a real love connection. Or for those of you who have not met your significant other or somebody who's worthy of your time yet, you know, this may be checking in to see if, you know, everything on your list is wonderful and what you need to do to get there, to meet that person. Or maybe there are a few things on your list or whatever, you know, your beautiful person that you're thinking of, that you're dreaming about. Maybe there's a few tweaks to that. Maybe you can ask the universe for several different things. They can be taller, they can be funnier, whatever it is, we're checking in on that. So whether you are with somebody, whether you are single, whether you are dreaming about somebody and thinking about somebody or dreaming up somebody in your mind, we're finding out if that is a real love connection. And as always, we're trying to get you practical advice, how to get there, if it's happening, if they are, if they're not, if not, what can we do to help you to get there quicker. And I'm going to be using the pendulum today. So we have good idea, no, think about it, bad idea, yes, and forget about it. So we're going to be using the pendulum to start off with, and then we have these oracle cards. And then I'm going to be finishing off with these beautiful, I think they're Green Witch tarot cards here. So as always, if you feel as though this is energy that you like and want in your life, do feel free to subscribe after you've had your reading, and always feel free to give me a thumbs up if it resonates, and do let me know in the comments below after your reading. I love hearing from you guys and getting the feedback. It really does make my day. So do feel free to do all of those things. I would love to be in your life if you feel as though this is a love match. So we have 3 piles. I try to pick sort of love-friendly little icons. And so we have the bunny for the first one, a little white bunny for pile 1. And then we have a little doggo, a cute little doggo here on pile 2, and then a koala. Of course, I always think of love when I think of koala on pile 3. And as always, the timestamps will be down below. So we're always going for messages of love and light that resonate with you right now. Again, this is a timeless reading. So whenever you come across it, we're hoping it'll give you the information that you need to solidify what you already know or what you can do, etc., etc. So yeah, we're just going to breathe into our energy and ground. And go ahead and we're going to move these out for now, but we will be checking in with them very, very soon. So for those of you who chose pile 1 and the white little bunny here, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull in our little pendulum here. First of all, it says good idea. Well, that's great, but we're actually going to use it first. So Is this a real love connection? Let's go ahead and find that out for you, pile one. No. Okay. Well, let's do that again. See what we have. Excuse me. Okay, think about it. So, we had good idea first of all, but it wasn't we hadn't done it yet. No, and then think about it. So, this is not necessarily an absolute no, but maybe a little bit of erring on the side of caution. So let's find out why. Dating, okay. That's your first one. And then divine feminine here. So the first thing that I'm getting here is the dating. If you see she's up there, he's down here, and there's a little bit of a disconnect insofar as I know this was the traditional way if we're going for Romeo and Juliet and all of those Shakespearean sort of plays, how they would court and greet each other initially. But for me, I'm feeling there's a little bit of sometimes it could be construed as a little bit of a misunderstanding or not being quite on the same level. So maybe there's, with the divine feminine too, like really honing in on your own magic and accepting nothing less. Definitely shaving off. And I don't really use those words, but that's what I got. Sort of shaving off the past, not having to go back into the past. I think, for those of you who chose pile one, you've definitely done a lot of work. But there's not necessarily a pattern, but, for those of you who chose this, they're seeing who you are accurately and coming from a place of self-love. That energy projected out would automatically bring somebody who's much more on your level. So that's what I'm getting there. But wishes, be careful what you wish for, as one will be granted. Yeah, there's a little bit of an essence of settling here. Now, there's different ways to see this. And again, this is a general message, and I'm just giving you the messages that I'm getting. But so, just because you want love, there's no reason to necessarily settle. And I feel as though there is an innate sense of sort of inadequacy here. And it's a little bit of real talk. And the inadequacy is, looking out into the external world and sort of seeing inadequacies sort of in other people. But that means that it's coming from us. So, in the practical way, what we can say for those of you who chose pile one is like not to be so hard on yourself. And maybe what it is, the sort of attributes that you're looking for in another person may not be as significant as you think that they are necessarily. So yeah, that's just, anyway, brilliant success, the freedom to go in any direction, a journey that is now complete. Yeah, so this is... And then we've got wisdom and Master Jesus, forgiveness. Yes, you are on the path of light, love and forgiveness. Father, healing is possible at this time. So I feel as though, so I do feel as though for those of you who are using this reading as for somebody that they're already with, I feel as though your heart already knows the answer to that. And I feel as though for those of you who are using this reading to sense in the world what it is that you're looking for and pull that energy into you, I feel as though that the person that will come to you will look very different and feel very different to whom it is that you're asking for now. So, that in itself is not necessarily a bad thing at all. But to bring that energy in quicker, you could definitely... There needs to be a forgiveness too. And I feel as though there's a pattern of dominoes too, where a lot of you are... or there's an energy of sort of the scientific practical thing. If I do this and find out about that, or if I get this healed or do that, this person will come in, quicker for me. There's an essence of control in the looking to manifest this person in your life. And the one message that I'm getting is to release and to forgive and to just sort of see this not as a journey necessarily where when this person shows up, you finished your journey and you've arrived somewhere, right? There's a mentality that some of you are that are keeping, that, you know, there's a holy quest and I'm going after this person, and when they arrive, you know, there's something that I can sort of tick off my list in a way. And the universe is asking you to sort of not control the situation. Yes, absolutely work on yourself, but even the working on yourself and what it is that you're doing, to look back, streamlining your life and releasing old energy so you can be open to the new. Not all of that needs to be done in the way that you're doing it. The universe will let you know, and know on certain terms, when something comes up, what needs to be dealt with. And as long as you're listening to your body and your thoughts, and you're being honest about where you are and where this energy is coming from, you will release it and then manifest beyond what you've just released. So you don't have to really read every book on the shelf, or it's always good to read. Of course, it's always good to do what you need to do, but the approach, I feel, to the message that I'm getting, the approach to getting what you want can be much more of a natural process. And having said that, you know, the lightness and the joy also brings somebody in much quicker. You do have a brilliant success, and what it is that you do when you take your mind and you apply it to anything that you want, you pretty much get what you want. But I feel as though the universe is asking you, it's asking you in no uncertain terms, is this really what you want? This person that you've put your mind to, is this the person that you really want, or a person that you genuinely think that you need, or a person that you feel like you need right now to fill some sort of need that you don't want to look at. It's just asking you to look at your situation without the rose-colored glasses. So there's also this understanding of claiming your own magic and wisdom, and also to understand that not only are you enough. I feel as though that phrase is everywhere. It's taken on sort of a life of itself, which is wonderful, but you already know that you're enough, I feel as though. But like, do you understand that you are majestic? And I think that if you work with that aligning into the energy of feeling as though and knowing that you are majestic, then I feel as though this wisdom will be integrated, and the sense of sort of safety that you're trying to find outside of yourself will be grounded into your soul, and ideally the first chakra, and then you won't be looking for it outside of yourself. And I feel as though that will change your dating process, what you put up with, what you feel as though you're looking for. I feel as though that will change to no end. And that's what I'm getting. Let's get you some more information. Yes, the Horn God. You are looking for somebody, King of Chalices. Yes. So there's a little bit of a dichotomy here. Three of Chalices. Okay, this is absolutely brilliant. So I feel as though there's a little bit of a dichotomy here with those who chose pile one, between who you've settled for and who it is that you actually want. But there's a part of your subconscious that's really huge. Do I think that I can get that, or practically can we go for this? The other message that I'm getting is that there's been a rapid transformation for those of you who have picked pile one. Definitely in the last 3 years, but I would say in the last 2 months, a rapid transformation. So you're being asked to check in with your soul to make sure that what it is that you've asked for before really aligns with who you are right now. There should be some tweaking going in along. Now, the King of Chalices is wonderful. Now, I mean, obviously, I don't know what happened there. That's very strange. I feel as though something just turned off the light and then put it back on. Very strange. But anyway. Yeah. Okay, so I think the electricity was off for a second and now it's back on. So sorry about that. But I feel as though the King of Chalices is wonderful, right? I mean, he looks as though he's got the bee, he's got everything that you need. He's sitting at the head of the table. You know, the King of Cups here. definitely has, you know, the emotionality, and he's the king, and there's a lot of sort of affluence around this. So when you look at this, you would think, oh yeah, that's wonderful, that's the sort of person that I want to be with. And this is the person that represents the person that you would have settled for. But really, at the end of the day, we've got the horn god here, right? He's a god, right? He's not a king, he's a god. So look at this man, majestic, again, to match your majesticness, in the forest, you know, comes from the land, understands the land, is very much in, you know, very much connected to your soul, outside of the sort of pragmatic, what am I looking for? I need this, I need that. This is like a true soul connection. Now, even though you may be craving a true soul connection, ask your soul if this is what the energy that you've been in and around that you've wanted, or the energy that you are in and around with this person that you're thinking about or thinking about taking further, or this person that you're with now, based on this person that will bring you continued joy. You know, I love the Three of Chalices. I love the Three of Cups. I know the Two of Cups really does signify. It's one of my favorite cards to signify. If you get that with the Lovers, you're pretty much set. But the Three of Chalices is all about this commitment to joy, constant joy. And this Three of Chalices came up with this icon here. So it's just really about taking the divine wisdom, the wisdom that you have integrated and transformed into in the last couple of months, and really reassessing pretty much every area of your life, but particularly with love. Now we have this world brilliant success. So again, you've moved 360, you've gone all the way round, but come back with all of the wisdom that you need and want to make different choices. So again, wishes, you know, be careful what you wish for, because your wish will be granted. You know, the king sounds great, right? But you can go for the god. So bear that in mind with everything and everyone that you are thinking about. And again, I want to reiterate the message that I'm getting here very clearly. You've done the work. This is not about going back. And this is literally about lining up, realigning, not controlling the situation. You've done enough work. You're worthy of this person. And the last tweak in manifesting this person into your life literally can take 30 seconds. You have to go from I am enough to I am majestic. And then that person that comes in, brilliant success. Again, go in any direction. You want to be with somebody who is spontaneous and joyous and brings that brilliance with you wherever you go, you know, not just somebody who brings home the bacon. Well, if you're vegan, brings home the bread or whatever it is, which is great. Somebody who can just go beyond sort of meeting you halfway. Somebody who can, you know, ignite something within you. Somebody that you can grow with, you know, this, you know, a really intense sort of twin flame soul reuniting kind of beautiful relationship. And if that's in your soul what you want, you're just being asked to realign and just acknowledge in this beautiful way this transformation that you've gone through in the last 2 months, and just catch up to yourself. And just make sure that the energy of what you want and what you believe you can get is just in alignment, so you can get this majestic, godlike figure. And again, this is not about you at all putting this person on a pedestal. If anything, let's not forget the divine feminine, you know, it's not about being better than anyone else. But, you know, let's face it, at the end of the day, if all women weren't here, there would be no more birth. We give life. So there is nothing higher than that. And I'm pretty sure Roseanne said that, so I'm not stealing it. But it's not about being better, but it is about elevating who you are and understanding that beauty and that wisdom and your uniqueness, and transferring that knowledge into your core. So you hold that energy, and when you put out that energy, whom you will be and who you will be manifesting will be of this caliber. And if there's anything that you need to do to forgive yourself here, from the sort of the line of men or the masculine energy, just before, or forgiving, I'm feeling a lot of this for, again, a general reading. I'm feeling there's a lot of forgiveness that you need to forgive yourself for. and just you didn't know enough then. You're very hard on yourself in certain ways. And if you're less hard on yourself, you'll relax into this sort of beautiful way of being, and seeing this as a soul journey and meeting your loved ones, seeing it as a storybook instead of trying to rush down the yellow brick road and get to that person so you can live happily ever after. This is a journey, and your journey begins when you meet them. So if there's any kind of forgiveness in the heart chakra or in your heart space that you need to do, you gave your energy to people who, or people in your love life that didn't really deserve it, or you didn't give yourself enough love. Forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. Again, all in the past. All of the work that you've done has already been done. All you need to do, a little bit of a tweakness, come out of the control. Remember, it's alignment, not controlling. See it as a beautiful journey. Really lighten up the energy to see this as joyous, and go from I am enough to I am majestic. And this person will be in your life, or the person that you are hoping for and could never have even dreamed how brilliant they are, that you absolutely deserve, will be on your front doorstep sooner rather than later. And even if you're in your house going, I don't even know how this is going to happen, trust me, there's a myriad of different ways you can meet people, a myriad of different ways, and it can happen very, very quickly. So that is absolutely your reading. Pile 1, I'm very excited for you to update your beautiful essence. You've already done that, but update your knowledge of that beautiful essence in your soul and get exactly who you want, and not settle in any way, shape, or form. So do let me know if that resonated. Do feel free to give me a thumbs up. I love to hear from you guys. And until we meet again, Pile 1, take care. Bye-bye. Okay, lovelies, if you chose Pile 2 and this cute little doggy, then is this a romantic connection? Again, this could be for somebody, like a romantic connection, somebody that you're already with, but you're checking in on, or somebody that you've already met and are thinking about if this would be a good romantic connection. Could you take it further? Or again, clarification or on energy that you're putting out there to meet your next love. Either way, it really all works. So first thing we're going to do very, very carefully is, no, we're not, that's not it. So is this, the relationship that you're inquiring about, is this truly a romantic connection? Let's find out. No. Another one, let's do it again. Yeah, this is the one. Going round and round and round. Sometimes it just goes to places. Okay, good idea. So we're not going to do the no, because the first one, sometimes it gets the pull. I like it to have a really good go around, and then we know that it's really doing it. So we're going to go with good idea here. So that's all systems go. So let's see soulmates. Compatibility. Hello. This is pretty good. I want you to see the soulmates card, which is really beautiful. Yeah, I was feeling like the no really wasn't working. Perspective. Examine your situation from a higher perspective. I'm going to put that back, but I'm going to leave it at good idea. 4 of Autumn. Manage your resources wisely. Achieve a balance in how you spend and save money. Help those out who are less fortunate. So we've got that one. Then we've got Blossoming, 33, which is a nice number 2. For those of you, I just did a sacred numbers. For those of you who are getting the 333 too, 33, that's another one that you can check out. That would be interesting for you. And then Awakening Presence. The universe is with you. Wear a cloak of protection and love. So there's a few different things going on here. So for those of you who are wondering about a certain person, soulmates and compatibility, there's definitely a compatible element, obviously. And then we've got a good idea here. So there's a compatible element here too, and soulmates, absolutely. The message that I'm getting right now, and again, this is a general reading, but I just give you the messages that I'm getting. So if this is resonating with you, then it resonates with you. And if it doesn't, it just doesn't. But the the message that I'm getting, it's not the person, it's you, insofar as like the doubts that you have, you're worried on your end, but they're not, those doubts are coming from inside of you. They're not coming from the other person. It's not the behavior of the other person. It's just an indication of stuff that you need to clean up, or clear up, or give yourself a different perspective. Very often, when we've had situations where we've been in relationships where they were, let's just say, less than ideal, and we'll leave it at that, right? And then you do get somebody who comes along who treats you very, very well, right? Sometimes we can feel we don't really know how to deal with that. And sometimes the work just begins because, you're with somebody who treats you well now, though, but then you're worried that you're going to mess it up, or this will happen, or, you don't want to show this side of yourself, or this, that, and the other, and this idea of truly being yourself and wondering if the shoe is going to drop, if that person's going to stay, etc. I don't think it's a coincidence that for those of you who chose pile 2 that you got the dog too. There's sort of this loyalty and this beauty, and maybe you've been with people before where the grass was greener, maybe they had a wandering eye or something. I'm just getting this sort of vision where maybe they weren't long term, or they didn't think long term, and the person that you're with, or whomever it is, again, this is a general reading trying to get to everybody, or whomever you are looking for is thinking about long term, wants a long term relationship, and once they find somebody that they're compatible with and they have that soulmate connection, it's they're going to work within that paradigm with you to make that work, instead of if something goes wrong, or you connect with each other and figure it out, instead of going elsewhere to find your comfort, right? So somebody who's willing to sort of work with you, grow with you, and share a life with you, and is genuinely interested in that, not just saying that they are, and then somebody who can really, really, totally and completely commit, right? So excuse me, I feel as though your sense of commitment has been brilliant insofar as, like, I feel like you're a very committed person in general. I feel as though you're very committed to other people. I feel as though there might be a lot of lack of commitment to yourself in some ways. You don't always put yourself first. This sounds really counterintuitive, but bear with me. The message I'm getting is, in a relationship, you have to put yourself first. Let me clarify that. You have to put your energy first, and your needs first. That doesn't mean to say that it's all about you and you don't need to compromise. But when you are clear about what it is that you want, and you're clear about how it is that you can get it, you can communicate that clearly. And for some of you, I'm getting that you haven't always spoken up. And asked for what it is that you need. Sometimes, whether you think that that person should be able to tell, or whether you are just, not good at communicating your needs and what it is that you want, or maybe there's fear around it because, maybe in the past you've been labeled as somebody who is sort of intense or high maintenance. And this is something that I've seen people do a lot. They label people like this, and really these people are not high maintenance at all. They just, they totally understand who they are and what their needs are. And if you're one of those people, then I am genuinely sorry for you. But sorry for you that somebody treated you like that or put you in that category. But I don't want you to sort of hearken, and I don't know where that word came from, hearken back to that life. Again, clear communication. And I think for you, for most of you, I'm getting that you're really clear communicators. Even if you don't communicate initially, like when chips are down, you will tell somebody off. You will, you'll do whatever you need to do with boundaries. I feel like you're better at it now more than you were before. You don't feel as though you're pushed off a cliff before you had to have those boundaries. And when it comes to protecting your friends and those you care about, you're the first person there. You don't even need to be that angry. You'll just be like, this is not okay. But when it comes to your needs and whatever it is that you need to get to pull in and ask for yourself, you're not always good at that necessarily. And I feel as though the balancing act, sometimes you're down there at the bottom and other people are up there too. I feel as though in the past, also in relationships, you have been the sort of person who's been the provider, the emotional provider, etc., etc. And you've not always had people who meet you halfway. So again, you've done a lot of work and there's been a lot of transformation in the last couple of months. And this is something that you have awoken in yourself, this understanding of who you are and what it is that you want. I feel as though you're very firm about what you want, and that has shifted, and that really is amazing. So for those of you who are in a relationship already and wondering about it, yes, it absolutely could be a great foundation for a relationship. It seems to a good idea, but it does require more communication from you, more foundational sort of understanding of how amazing you are, asking for your needs to be met. It does mean that you need to step up a little bit in this relationship, not necessarily to make it work, but to make it more specific to your needs, and not being afraid to ask for what you want. And for those of you who are waiting for love to come into your life, I feel as though this blossoming and this transformation that you've just been through, you are absolutely on it. You are on it. You really know what you want. And that has shifted, and you're really understanding your autonomy. I feel as though for some of you, there's been a little bit of a commitment issue, and there's nothing wrong with that, because I'll tell you why. I feel as though in the past, because you've sort of lost a little bit of yourself in other relationships, and there's a myriad of different reasons we could go through them, but not speaking up, the communication. But there were other things too, and it's not anybody's fault. But you lost a little bit of your identity, and you lost a little bit of your, or a little bit of yourself. Some of it was chipped away, and you're very conscious of that. But that perspective has shifted. You're not doing that anymore, and you're not going to really put up with a lot of the energies that you've had around you before in romantic relationships. And I feel as though, you know, whom you are looking for, again, is that idea, that understanding has shifted, and is very much in line with how you have blossomed and what you want. And the answer is yes, it's a good idea to go out. For some of you, I'm getting, is it a good idea to go out and look for somebody now? I don't feel as though I'm ready. I don't feel as though the world is shaky. Yes, it is this is absolutely a good time. You know, very often when we get onto the spiritual quest, there's certain parameters that we want to reach, and there's certain milestones that we want to gain before we go out there. I want to give you a reminder. Yeah, absolutely work on yourself, but you've already done that. You've blossomed where you need to do. And when you meet somebody, this is the beginning of a brand new healing sort of plateau for you. In some ways, you know, the journey just begins. So, you know, don't wait until you feel as though you've got absolutely everything together. This is absolutely the right time. The rest of the healing can be done with somebody else, and they will have things to heal too, as we all will, and you'll be able to help each other out. You'll be exactly where you need to be. You'll be on the same level, and you'll be able to really support each other. So for those of you who are like, yeah, I'm feeling a little bit shaky, but I know what I want. I'm confident. I just don't think it's the right time. Rubbish. It is the right time. Get out there. And your heart's already open, but just have the faith that all the work that you've done, it's integrated enough to definitely attract and manifest that beautiful person that you need. And again, remember that balance. You know, this manage your resources wisely. This is really, for this Four of Autumn card here, this is really just about what it is that you're willing to give, whereas before you gave so much. You're definitely, and you do understand that your intuition is absolutely spot on. You do have those red flags. You do understand them. You may not have always acted on them before, but you will now. But this is really about, you know, the balance of both of you complementing each other and not waiting for somebody to sort of stand in their element and helping them work through things. I feel as though in the past you've kind of gone for broken souls, because in a way you felt as though you were broken, but you really weren't broken in the way that they were. And you know, there was an expectation, or there was a hope, I would say, that, you know, they would either stay with you or that they would work these problems out. But actually they were kind of takers. You know, there's no perfection out there. And like I said, there's a lot of things to be worked on. So you just want to make sure that person is ready to work on their stuff, and you don't need to do the work for them. You can just be that foundational element for them, and they can do the same for you. So somebody's who on your level, they don't have to be completely healed from the past, because the world is a beautiful place, but it also breaks your heart, which is also part of the beauty, right? So you can help somebody heal, they can help you heal, but as long as you are in a situation where there's that balance there, there are times in the relationship where they're going to take more, and you're going to take more. But as long as they're not taking more than you can give, and as long as it's a balance, they're coming back with that, supporting you when you need it, that's totally fine. If you're both giving at the same time, that's wonderful. But generally it works, one's up, the other one's down, etc., etc. Whereas before, you were always the one up, helping the other person, who was down, and that in itself doesn't balance out. You understand that. So again, this is perspective. This is something that you've understood. Your boundaries are there. They're really much more enforced, as they've needed to be before. They no longer need to be enforced, because you really do understand this awakening presence within you. So please, for those of you who are a little bit worried about, you've done the work, you're ready, but you're a little bit timid, right? Do I trust myself? Yes, trust yourself. Get out there. You've got this. I promise you. The only way to prove yourself that that you've got this and that you can trust yourself is to get out there and do it. So it is a good idea. Go be you. If you're in a relationship already, speak up for what you want. You've got this. You've absolutely got this. There might be a little bit of a tweaking here, but you're blossoming with this person. You'll be able to do this. And for those of you who are wondering if there is, somebody out there for you, yes, go get them. If you've already got your eye on somebody, I would say, nobody can tell you if that person is your twin soul or whatever, but, we've got the soulmates and compatibility here. They definitely seem to be a person that is going to be significant in your life. So they are worth pursuing. So go be you. Go get that person. So very exciting times here for pile 2. Don't worry. Just go. Just don't overthink it. Just go be you. There are still ways of meeting people, and we're coming out of lockdown. So this feels like it's going to be pretty soon if you've not already had this person in your life. So this is kind of wonderful. This is absolutely wonderful. So if this resonated, do let me know in the comments. Feel free to give me a thumbs up. I always love to hear from you guys. And pile 2, sending so much love and light to you. Till we meet again. Bye-bye. Okay, pile 3, if you chose this cute little koala, I'm just going to move that back into the center there. Then this is your beautiful reading here. So just to recap, we are finding out if this is a real tangible love connection. Again, if it's somebody that you're checking in with, that you're already with, somebody that you've got your eye on, or somebody who doesn't quite exist yet, but sort of in your mind's eye, we will figure that all out. So the first thing we're going to do is pull the pendulum, and I like to give it a good go and see round and round where it goes and where it stops. We will find out. So forget about it. I'm going to do that again. All right. No. Okay, so we've got a no here, and then we got to forget about it. Sorry, my table's a bit. Reparenting yourself here. Sexuality, that's beautiful. And then divine sight, see the divine in everyone. I'm going to put that back there. Assessing. 8 of Spring, stress that comes from having too many things happening at once. Successful multitasking, sudden events or changes. And then Radha, soul flame, rediscover a lost part of yourself, experience relationship harmony and healing. So there's a few different things going on here, and of course we do have these beautiful cards should we need some extra messages here. So so we did get the no, and then we got the forget about it. So the one thing that I'm getting, the message predominantly that is coming up, is that I feel as though there's been a little bit of a time out. For those of you who have just come out of a relationship and wondering what the hell's going on, or like there's a lot of sort of like tension or angst around sort of a relationship that you've just come out of, or sort of a reassessing but not wanting to reassess necessarily. But there's, always trying to get you practical advice, even though these are general readings. But I feel as though the sexuality element, the sexuality card, is that accepting all parts of yourself, but your creative energy. I feel as though you're very creative, pile 3, if you chose the koala. And that fire, you may even be a fire sign, have a lot of fire in your chart, but like that creative energy is linked to sexuality, and getting that in balance, getting that divine sight back. So your creative energy comes from that. And having that spark full time in your life, I feel as though you've been in situations in the past with relationships where there's been that spark, and then, it's not that it's fizzled out necessarily, or if they have, it's just gone. But it's just that the way in which you maintain the energy sort of depletes your creativity instead of makes your creativity sort of grow. So you normally have, or in the past, your creativities come from the second chakra and moving into the sacral chakra. And I feel as though, or the message that I'm getting is that it's very much linked with your creativity, and getting that spark back, getting that back into your sort of womb area and where it stays will really, really change the kind of relationship, A, that you're looking for, and B, that you're going to have. For those of you who are sparking out kind of early with relationships, maintaining the relationship is having that fire burn all the time, where it's not burning you out as it has done before, but it remains not just on fire, but like it fuels you, the creative energy. You should be somebody who inspires you to be creative all the time. Not, obviously get some sleep, but you know what I mean? When you finish a creative project, you move on to another one. I feel as though in the past you've been, you've lended your energy to people who have sort of used that, maybe taken that creativity, or not realized that it was your creativity. You've seen that you've not always been as creative with them. But, that fuel, that fire, they've taken that energy and you've not had enough to create. And you do more creating when you're on your own. So this is about sort of reestablishing and keeping that creative energy, not necessarily for yourself, but to relight that cauldron in your sexual chakra. Keep it going all the time, and have those boundaries and have those standards up. So that person should be, I keep getting, and it's very literal, but I keep getting this, the person that you should be with, or the person that you're with, feeding your energy coal. So you're keeping that on, keep going, almost like, a vessel or a ship, instead of like dampening down that fire. So again, you have the soul flame. So for those of you who used to work like that with that creativity, where you could just turn it on at a whim, sort of like a tap, and now you're not able to do that, the soul flame, it's reconnecting with that chakra. So the reparenting yourself, there's a lot of pain that's come from not having that foundation, not always having the sort of protection necessary that you needed throughout your life. And that's left some scars there. Again, this is a general reading, but that's what I'm getting for some of you. So to learning, and it is a process to absolutely sort of reparent yourself. And it's sad that we have to do something that others should have done properly from the beginning. Absolutely. But the truth of the matter is that you can do it, and you have been doing it much better than they could ever do themselves. So for those of you who had amazing parents, that's wonderful. And this part of the reading absolutely has nothing to do with you. But for those of you, as you grew up, did not feel as though they had the security in and around the situations that they were in. And sometimes for some of you, put themselves into situations that were kind of dicey and didn't necessarily see how dicey they were. I saw this quote the other day and it really hit me hard. And I'm paraphrasing, and I wish I had it in front of me, but I didn't know I was going to need it. But it's, do not measure your daughter's courage. Do not teach your daughter that something about, do not teach your daughter that courage comes from how much they can put up with and what they can, how much they can take on. It's more about systematically choosing that you don't need to put yourself through it. So, I feel as though a lot of you have put yourself through hell and back because you could. That's not a badge of being a strong person. You don't need to do that anymore. The badge of a strong person is absolutely having that courage. And yes, you can come out of that situation, but you don't need to choose them anymore. So really, I think the reflection of who you've chosen in the past is definitely that way. And that's what you're assessing here. And the overwhelming element, again, when you're in a relationship, you're overwhelmed with like the beauty of the new and like the creativity and the sparks are there, and all of that's happening with the sexuality, but then the maintaining of it can't necessarily happen. So the divine sight too, and then you get really hard on yourself and you turn that darkness within. What am I doing wrong? Whether you realize that you're doing it or not, you're very, very hard on yourself. I think that came up with pile two too, because you've always had to be ultra independent. If anything went wrong, you did blame yourself. There was, you could blame other people. There were other people to take the blame, but they weren't there to physically take the blame. So you took, even though you realized that there was only so much blame that you could take, you actually took on the blame instead of, handing it out to other people who really deserved it. And, and maybe you were the better person. I'm not really going to focus on, blaming other people. I'm just going to be responsible for my own energy, but you still carried that energy and you turned it within. So there's a lot of assessing. There's a lot of being overwhelmed by the old stuff that might be coming up now, but it's actually coming up thick and fast because it's about to be released. You've done this work before. And when it said forget about it and it went to no, it's really about really understanding and integrating this energy of how you maintain this creativity, which is absolutely linked with your sexuality. And for those who have been shamed for that, who have had a bad past with that, that's about the last remnants of going back and forgiving the situation. Again, this is not forgiving people who treat you badly or taking on that energy at all. Quite the opposite. You've always taken on the energy. I feel as though you've been a caretaker a lot, but at the same time, you've taken on the caretaker energy, but you've never really shined that light necessarily on yourself. But you've transformed and you've been doing the work and you know what you've been doing. You are actually ready for love a lot quicker than you think. So that person that you've got your eye on, I feel as though the forget about it and the no is not about necessarily a person. It's about not necessarily moving forward until you've properly integrated this creativity and the sexual energy and getting that back within the first and second chakra, forgiving yourself, forgiving the past completely, allowing this stuff to come up one last time so you can release it very much on your own terms. And keep that passion within yourself all the time. That soul flame going all the time. So when you attract somebody, you're attracting somebody who's going to feed that flame and not fan it out. So it's really not saying no to love. It's just saying there's just one more step to do before you get out there. That's really what I'm getting. You're actually ready. High Priestess, two here. I mean, this is who you are, and you are this, but it's about maintaining that understanding of yourself 24/7, 365 days a year, 7 days a week. Absolutely. And that's, admitting that not only are you a sexual creature, but, and for those of you who are watching and you're like 15, that this is not an excuse to go out there and do all this stuff. Absolutely. But there's different versions of sexuality, but it's really that creative second chakra connecting to that and that sexual nature and not dumbing it down. And again, there's ways of connecting that energy. And that's where you find a lot of your power and your magic. And somewhere along the line, that you fanned that out yourself a little bit. So maintaining all of this and not being so hard on yourself, and some of that lust for life may be diminished a little bit because of that connection to those two. That chakra, that sexuality, that creativity is not always there, and that's what used to want you to be in life and connect to life and see it as vibrant and beautiful. If you've lost a little bit of that, this is just how you get it back and get that soul flame. Focus on that connection, focus on that chakra. You've done the work around having to do it. This is just the last piece of the puzzle. Six of Pentacles, absolutely. You know, not looking for anybody else to bring that to you. You've done the work already. You are moving, maybe not at the point where you're at, you know, the 8. You've got the 8 here. So you're moving toward, like, you know, I love the 8 of Staves when it comes in, because it's just a card that this is, but the 8 is really a signal. When you get the 8, it's a signal that something is moving. You're getting good news. Things are moving. You're so there. The 6 of Pentacles, it's brilliant. It's there. But there's still an essence of you that's looking maybe for the outside to provide the answers. You know that they're on the inside. It's just a little bit of work that needs to be done. Remember, you're the High Priestess. Nobody can tell you that but you, right? 3 of Pentacles, absolutely. So this is the last thing that I'm getting, a ritual or an initiation into this commitment to yourself to do things completely on your own terms. You know, is love about compromising? Relationships are about compromising. Love isn't about compromising. You're not here to compromise anymore. Initiate, you know, into this understanding of who you are and claim that High Priestess and, like, you know, sort of click that in to not only your personality, but everything that you are and everything that you represent. And that's when you are going to go out there and attract the person that is truly worthy of you. But really, this is about the connection and getting that lust for life back. For those of you who, you know, stutter in the darkness sometimes because you miss that connection and you used to be so vibrant, and maybe you've used other things to get that. And now, you know, you want to use your lust for life for just having a lust for life without having to get it from medication or whatever other things that you've done that just don't last that long. Then it's really just about connecting that second chakra, that creativity with your sexuality, reclaiming the High Priestess and some kind of initiation. So you are on your own terms and clicking that right into your system, all of your neurons, and knowing that this is really you. That connection will come back to life. And once you're connected in that way, there's no one that you cannot attract. And this is somebody that used to attract a lot of people before, and you are somebody that used to do that. But again, this is about maintaining. You know, the assessing, I would say, is pretty much over. You've done everything that you can. This is just more about accepting and finally releasing. Again, if the stuff is coming up thick and fast, the old stuff, they just want you, your guides just want you to release it once and for all. And when you do that, initiate into your High Priestess, who is you. And then you won't be overwhelmed with connecting and connecting in the world and connecting with another. This will be joyful for you again, you know? So this is a really beautiful reading for getting back, or I would say not getting back. You've done the work to do that, to maintain your soul flame and to really understand where your energy comes from and how to maintain it. It's a source that will never go out once you initiate yourself back into the High Priestess role, which of course you already are. So again, I want to reiterate, forget about it and no does not mean that you're not ready for love. It's just this one thing that needs to be done. You've done the work already. I feel as though you are on the verge of meeting the person that you want. So for those of you who are ready, you know, don't put anything off. For those of you who have your eye on someone, go for it. For those of you who are in the beginning of starting this relationship, this is something that can be activated and still be with somebody. You don't need to dump everyone around you and go off in a cave and do everything yourself. It's not dramatic. You've been working on this. This is just accountability and understanding. And again, initiating back into your soul and your soul flame. and not settling for anything less. So I hope this resonated with you. This reading resonated with you. Do let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. Feel free to give me a thumbs up. Sending so much love and light to you, Pile 3. And until we meet again, bye-bye.